Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that could be a little bit confusing, and that's the different types of fuel that you'll find in the filling stations over here in Vietnam. When you add this into the language barrier, you can easily see how you might make a mistake and put the wrong fuel in your bike. That could be disastrous. So let's talk about the different kinds of fuel, what kind of fuel not to use, and then what we recommend is the best fuel for the motorbike. Just before we get into the nitty-gritty of all the different kinds of fuel, a few things that need to be said are that you should check your vehicle manual before you fuel your bike. It'll tell you exactly what the preferred fuel is from the manufacturer. You'll also note that some fuels are more environmentally friendly than others, and generally those fuels that have a V suffix on them will have a lower environmental impact, and they produce less emissions such as NOx and SOx, so they'll be much better for the environment. The other thing is that engine performance and longevity will be really affected by the type of fuel that you use. So it's best to use the correct fuel to get the most performance and the longest life out of your engine. All of our vehicles run on gasoline, petrol, so let's dive in and look at those first. Now, the first thing to say is there's different names for the different fuels. You'll very often see the RON number, and that means Research Octane Number. So this tells you how resistant the fuel is to a phenomenon called knocking, which is premature combustion. The higher the RON, the more resistant it is to knocking. You'll also see some Roman numerals like V and 111 or 3, and they indicate the fuel's emission standards. So the higher the numbers of these, then the cleaner burning the fuel. Let's start off with E5 RON 92. E5 RON 92 is a biofuel. It's got 95% regular gasoline and then 5% bioethanol. Because of this, it's a more environmentally friendly choice. It's also slightly cheaper than the other fuels. It's the fuel that we recommend for all of our bikes. It's slightly cheaper and greener. Next up, we've got RON 95.3. This is a premium petrol with a RON of 95, so it resists knocking a little bit more. It's better for high performance engines and those engines that have really high compression ratios. These are not our kinds of bikes, so the extra cost is wasted on these. And the third type of gasoline you might see is RON 95V. Now this is a high-grade, ultra-clean gasoline, and it meets the really high Euro 5 emission standards. The V means it has much lower levels of harmful substances. This is not commonly available all over the country and in the countryside, and it's also not worth paying the extra money for this fuel to put in our engines. That said, you can use all of these fuels in our bikes and they won't really harm the engine if you just use them once or twice. But we like to stick with the E5 RON 92 because it's perfect for the bikes, it's cheaper and greener. Now, when you get to the petrol stations, you'll also find that there's diesel fuel there. Now, why are we talking about diesel fuel when it doesn't go in our bikes? Well, I think it's important that you know that there is diesel fuel available. Usually you'll see the name of it as DO 0.00 something number, and then you'll have the Roman numerals as well. You should know about this fuel and you should recognize what it is so that you don't put it in the bikes. Obviously, if you fill with diesel in a petrol engine, you've got a world of problems. Fuel prices in Vietnam are set by the government and they're checked every 2 weeks and changed as well every 2 weeks. And so that keeps up with the global trends for oil costs and prices. Roughly speaking, at the moment, it's around 20,000 dong for 1 litre of fuel. That would be around 80 cents or around, say, 65 pence per litre for fuel. Some common questions we get asked are things such as, is E5 RON 92 bad for my engine? And the answer to that is absolutely not. It's likely that it is the preferential fuel for your engine. So use it. It's clean, green, and quite cheap. Also, we get asked, what if I accidentally put the wrong fuel in my bike? And the first thing to say is, don't start the engine. If you start the engine, you could cause a lot of damage. So hopefully you'll notice quickly that you've put the wrong fuel in. Don't start the engine. Get your bike to a mechanic. Get the fuel tank and the carburetor or the injectors drained, and then have it flushed out with the correct fuel. People also ask us how they can save fuel on a motorcycle, and there are several things that you can do. The main thing would be to drive smoothly, regularly, and not accelerate and decelerate at a quick speed. You could try carrying less luggage or driving light so that you don't have to carry all that weight. Regular maintenance is also a good idea. Keeping your tires correctly inflated, using the right oil, and cleaning your filters regularly. This will all roll into fuel efficiency. Another thing is to warm your engine up so that you don't drive a cold engine. And also you can look out for potholes in the road and try and drive smoothly on the accelerator, but also smoothly on the road itself so that you don't have to stop and start so much. People regularly ask us about the availability of fuel throughout the countryside, and I always say to them, this is a country of some 80 million motorbikes. 95% of those have 4-litre fuel tanks, so they constantly need filling up. And that means you can find fuel stations all over the place, generally within 20 to 30 kilometers. So if you fill up regularly, once in the morning, once in the evening, then you're not going to run out of fuel. You should try to avoid filling at roadside stalls because you can't guarantee the quality of that fuel. And also, particularly the E5 RON 92, it attracts moisture. So if it's been sitting in an incorrectly sealed bottle, you'll end up with fuel with moisture in it, and then that could cause difficulty starting your bike. Also, people ask us how they can rely on the quality of the fuel they're getting. And the only real thing to say there is fill up from reliable sources. Places like Petrol or PV oil, they're quality branded filling stations, and you can rely on their fuel generally. Now, hopefully that helps you to know what to look out for your fueling needs and make sure that you get the right fuel in your bike. Hopefully that'll mean that your motorbike tour or your rental in Vietnam will be without hassle. Thanks for watching and ride safe. Don't forget that if you like the content, then please drop us a like, subscribe so that you see more of our content, and feel free to share with your friends.